Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to playing Loom, the EVGA version, the first version, with 16-bit colors and no dialogue voiced. However, still slightly better, or considerably better, than the last version that has voice dialogue and 256 colors. So I need to hear let's see what this conversation is, this one and this one, see how much different it was than the talking CD-ROM version. Hard to be nosy with all this noise. Good thing that they have to shout to hear themselves. So they're pointing out the news. The final blade is being sharpened as we speak, Your Excellency. He is my most skilled blade sharpener is seeing to it personally. This is a historic moment for him in Nailbender. The forging of the 10,000 sword marks the end of our preparations. How goes the sharpening edgewise? The metal is proud, Foreman. It does not yield easily. So not too different here. More sweat will soften it, I trust. It shall be a blade to be reckoned with. This is almost exactly the same line of dialogue. The Blade of Reckoning, I like it. It has a certain apocalyptic flair. I assume your bladesmith won't keep me waiting much longer. Does the metal yield edgewise? I shall pound it into submission. Hard pounding may shorten your labor. Our generous client grows impatient. Only time can shape such noble steel, but I will double my efforts. Skulls will cleave at the mere sight of the edge of his, the edge is your sharpening bishop. You wax poetic, Foreman. So these are new lines. I never doubted the workmanship of your merchandise. So they're walking in circles, and it's just going to keep going. In fact, the Blacksmiths has caused me less trouble than any other guild. Your loyal service will not be forgotten in the hour of judgment soon to come. Wow. That's some different dialogue. So if I try to loom something now, it'll probably be too loud. But let's go ahead and try it. Sadly, I can't do the twisting because I'd prefer to do the sharpening and see what the difference is. So G, A. Can't spend any drafts in here. Too much noise. So that's weird that you have to either make the noise or hear the noise to cast a spell. So you could defeat any magic weaver in this universe just by making noise, just shouting at them, which kind of changes the entire final battle, doesn't it? But maybe it just means that he can't concentrate with that much noise. So let's start the conversation again. Still pounding edgewise? It is nearly finished, Foreman. Must I wait longer? Thank goodness he stopped it, banging on it. So, only time can improve this fearsome blade, O reverent one. So here we go. G, A. That's not even the right thing. Guess that is in the draft. Edgewise, the blade sharp yet? Not as sharp as my skill can make it. Alright, so click on this. G. No, that's not right. G, A. I guess that isn't the draft. So then the other ones we can do are DFAF, which needs to be done backwards, so that will be FAFD. His excellence awaits your pleasure. I shall crown the bishop's hilt with less than the finest blades. So many lines of dialogue here. F, A, F, and D. Foreman, what evil is this? A witch's curse has befallen the blade. The edge has mischievously blunted. A curse, edgewise, I think not. I'd hate to believe that a witch's curse could so thoroughly ruin my schedule. So apparently witches do exist in this universe. I don't suppose that fellow who's been spying on us has anything to do with it. So they could see him the whole time? Perhaps we'd care to accompany me back to my cathedral. And see, this is just all in gray in the background. I may have new curses to teach him. So now we're to the cathedral. And there may be a scene that misses that isn't in this version. I am the Bishop Mandible, transcended apostle of the anti-secular conclave of Clerics. Am I supposed to kneel or something? I don't get the anti-secular part of that. My assistant Cobb. Charming. Your cloak and staff betray your origin. I studied the lore of your guild at university. He is a weird-looking guy. It's been quite a long time since any weaver dared to set foot off that dreary rock you call home, Loom, so provincial. I can't help but wonder what impelled you to leave now. Exact same lines as the talking version. Just no zoom up. His Excellency asked you a question. I know, I'm ignoring it. Recalcitrance, I see. He's using big words. Shall I fetch the instruments of persuasion, Excellency? Forgive the hostility of my assistant. I fear Cobb is not very worldly. He does not realize how dangerous a weaver can be. Dangerous? Him? Do you think this iron cage of yours is enough to hold the boy captive? Why, he could burst it wide open with hardly a second thought. But Excellency, I expect the locks every Tuesday. Observe and learn, my servant. Even now your prisoner plans his escape. It seems like such a terribly written out system and puzzle. It feels like a puzzle. Like you're supposed to do something, but no, you're just supposed to open the gate. So E, C, E. That's not right. I did it wrong. E, C, E, D. You know, just to see an extra cutscene where this guy Cobb dies, playing on hardcore is not worth it. It would have been much better to just play on normal or practice mode. Give me that. You dare raise your voice to His Excellency? Now, Cobb, we mustn't be rude to our guests. Not after he was kind enough to bring us such a magnificent gift. Mandible, that distaff will never work for you. You're wrong, my arrogant young friend. Come, let me show you why. You know what's funny is I guess technically this is all my fault. Because if I hadn't come and brought the staff to him, consider the common graveyard, he wouldn't have been able to do the spell, would he? In the graveyard, the boundary between the living and the dead is indistinct. Your weaver would say that the pattern here is fragile, thin as gauze. Not just here, every graveyard is like that. I suspected as much. Now imagine what might happen if the delicate boundary was somehow breached. Torn open, so to speak. Forget it, Mandible. You can't just rip the pattern apart like an old rag. But I can. All I require is a weaver's distaff and the 4 threads of the opening draft. Thank you for supplying both so easily. When the boundary is breached, the dead will stream back onto the plane of the living, eager to reclaim their place among us. And I will be waiting for them, ready to offer my vast expertise in spiritual leadership. What a crazy plan, but at least it makes more sense than the talkie version. I shall preside over a teeming multitude of restless shades, immortal, invincible, an army of the dead, with myself as their supreme commander. An army nourished by the meat of the shepherds. Why do you need to feed a dead army? An army with the swords of the blacksmiths. Do they really need swords if they can't be cut or killed? And guided by the sphere of the glassmakers. That one doesn't even really get explained. I was preparing to invoke the dead by other more forceful means. See, now they're explaining that it isn't completely his fault. Then the glassmakers delivered my sphere. It foretold your convenient arrival. Now it shows me the smiths repairing the sword that you tried to ruin. Oh, interesting detail, not in the previous version. The age of clerics will soon be upon us. Where's the music, though? Cobb, don't let him out of your sight. I guess that he takes that too literally, and don't let him touch anything. Lord Mandible, ruler of the universe. Time to change my stationery. Not so dangerous now, are you? He. So, looks hungry. Going somewhere, Weaver boy. Cobb. Charming fellow, aren't you? And then we just look here. Keep away from that, you. His Excellency said not to touch anything. I wasn't going to touch it, just looking, that's all. See, this scene by itself does not make it worth it to play the whole game in hardcore mode. I'll let you look at the sphere if you let me look at something. And I don't know how this scene wouldn't play out in non-hardcore mode. Legend says it's death to gaze upon a weaver uncloaked. Naturally, we clerks pay little heed to such foolish rumors. Still, I'm curious. Willing to risk your life, curious. I'll let you look into the sphere if you let me lift your hood. Deal? I wouldn't try that if I were you. Why not? There's nothing to fear under that fine robe, is there? If you fear nothing, then you'd better not touch me. Riddle. I like riddles. A lot more dialogue here. Let's answer this little riddle once and for all, shall we? No, can't say I didn't warn him. So it seems more like he knew it would kill people if they looked upon his face, and he was just being coy in the previous conversation. Let's see, I don't know why I really need to know that one. And see, we're seeing what happens in the future. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to work greatly in any game to be able to see the future as a hint system or as just part of the story. You got to go really crazy with it if you're going to do something like that. And see, none of these visions even really have anything to do with anything. I'm just supposed to climb out here and move the story forward. Get my staff back. I see Cobb as being lax in his duties. No matter, you're just in time to witness the dawn of a new era. You don't know what you're doing, Mandible. Mandible's such a terrible name. The pattern is worn enough already. If you rip a hole in it now, spare me your weaver mysticism. No more shall the dead envy the living. Wow, you must have opened everything within 50 miles of here, including the eyes of the dead. Behold. So we get a new bad guy, which is bad story timing. I have a very bad feeling about this. Who dares disturb the peace of those who sleep? Greetings, noble spirit. I am Bishop Mandible, ultimate apostle of the anti-secular conclave of clerics. Who have I the honor of summoning? I am Chaos. Join me. And he does a spell right then and there as you're talking. Eee. And that kills him and absorbs him. I see it has been too long since my last visit. So it's weird that even something as big and bad as Chaos still just uses this magical weaving, but I guess you can't. You kind of have to do that, don't you? Because that's the only way this game works. It seems like the weavers very possibly could weave an entire new reality or two. So here we see we trigger the cutscene that pushes me in through here. Yipes. Again, a bad way to move a story forward. And can I go through these first? I guess I can. So let's play the game a little bit differently. Well, look who's here. Rusty. Old pal, Bobbin Threadbare. Rusty, this is awful. How did it happen? Well, Bobbin, old buddy, I think it went something like this. I'm lying here minding my own business when a strange new kid shows up and decides he wants to switch clothes with me. That's a lot of dialogue. Pause here with no audio. I figure, hey, so what? Have a little fun, right? We can always switch back again later. So this kid walks away looking just like me. Fine, okay, only one problem. Wow. The kid forgets to mention that he has a 40-foot dragon out to get him. Look how he looks different and evil now. And what happens to me? The very same dragon seems me lying here, looking just like you. I don't know what to say. Anyways, I end up like this, dead. So I go outside to wait for doomsday like a good little ghost, which is the outside. And what do you suppose happens then? Oh, it does turn into foam. Clouds. Some idiot rips the universe apart and hauls us back inside. Interesting. phrases inside, outside, and a lot of dead ones are really upset. That's understandable. In fact, some of them have decided to take over the world. Starting with my hometown. So, it kind of feels like you could probably just leave him dead. But I don't see a real reason to do that, so let's cast a healing spell on him. I bet it's CAAC. I stuttered there, but... You did it. You brought me back. This is what you want, right? Isn't it? You can bring people back from the dead. You were hurt. I healed you. That's all. I guess I ought to thank you. Wow, that's a completely different explanation. Don't. It's my fault anyway. Can you come with me, Bobbin? I've got to find out what happened to the rest of my guild. Sorry, I have to do the same thing. Good luck, though, and be careful. Wow, and so you could have a spin-off of this character and play as him in a different fantasy world. In fact, you could probably have many of the characters, better not wander too far, like show up and play parts in the same world. But boy, did they change the meaning of what just happened. Where he just said, oh no, I just healed you. That you were totally dead. We saw your skeleton. There's no deader he could have been. So I need to do D, E, C, E. I took too long. D, E, C, E. And I'm pretty sure there's 2 holes left, so I'll run to this one, then I'll go talk to the duck, and then ooh. Well, for a second there, I thought it was a visual glitch, but no, I just clicked on it. And here we can see the house is on fire. I think that's new. And 4 of the shepherds are dead, where it was only 2 before. And the animal. So it's even worse. Never had a chance. You're too late, wizard. The dead increased their numbers here. My song's useless. Those few not killed are suffering. At least you can end their misery. Extend your powers if you can. So I don't know what she's asking me to do as far as extending powers, but I can certainly heal them. So CAAC, I think. And see, I need to do this for the experience. That brings back the green sheep and the people. Please, what happened? You were saved by the mercy of the yonder boy. His power has grown since we last met. Shepherds have no long memories, wizards. I shall not forget your kindness. Man, I hate reading games like this. Come before the dead ones return to reap us again. And see, there's nothing else to click on. Let's close this hole. D E C E. And let's come over here and then meet with our mother. You can see in 16-bit colors is the stars don't look quite as good. They're not that twinkly because between a slight purple, blue, and white, you don't have that much you can do. Let's walk over here and see what happens. We've been expecting you, Bobbin. Welcome. Where am I? What is this place? Good question. Outside the pattern. Why is it a pond? Home of the dead and of those transcended. The shore of wonder. Interesting. Yes, Bobbin, you are the first to behold it with mortal eyes. So let's continue the conversation. You must have many questions, Bobbin. Many, many questions. Perhaps I can answer some of them. You're this one that came to visit me on my birthdays, aren't you? Mostly this dialogue's the same. You saw me clearly then. I was never quite sure. This is a nice looking duck. The elders forbade me to set foot on Loom Island, but they said nothing about flying over it. That's new dialogue. Once a year I managed to gain enough strength to pass inside for a few brief moments. Those are the times that you saw me. So, from the outside, she snuck back in. You were wondering why I should bother to visit at all? And only on your birthdays? Call it a mother's curiosity. My mother was a swan, for that is who I am. In life I was Lady Signa Threadbare, banished by the elders for drawing an unforeseen infant out of the loom 17 years ago. So you are created through the loom instead of just a normal pregnancy. That wasn't said in the previous version. My mother was buried in the cemetery. I visited her gravestone every day. Hetchel's doing, no doubt. She and the elders put that there so you wouldn't ask too many questions. They never mention your father. Hetchel vowed to protect you forever. She loves you very much, Bobbin. But I fear her love has driven her to recklessness. What do you mean? Where is she? She is set off for the island and the Loom Sanctuary. The dead ones are right behind her. The leader knows of the Loom's power. If he learns its secrets, the pattern itself will be his to manipulate. Who knows what havoc he might wreak. Interesting, I kind of thought Chaos was a female. Hetchel hopes to reach the Loom before him. She intends to destroy it. If Chaos doesn't consume her first. No, I have to get back there. You won't get far in that direction. The Loom lies beyond the lake. Besides, a more subtle strategy may improve your chances of success. What strategy? What should I do? The dead ones move between the holes your bishop friend made in the pattern. If you repair these holes, it will make it harder for them to follow you. Well, I've already done 2 out of 3. So, man, I'm really kind of disappointed on the lack of audio that's playing. I was expecting more when I saw the comparisons of this of the different versions of Loom, but really what it boils down to is what I thought were abridged comparisons, only making a few examples of what was going on, turned out to be complete comparisons that list every single small change. And there are significant changes, no doubt. And you will definitely get a better story playing the original version of the game. But the music still is not there for a music game. I think it needs to have music everywhere, non-stop, and it's just not there. That's going to be it for this recording. We'll probably finish up in the next one. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.